How you doing, folks? This is Preacher again, saying subscribe to my channel, and we're going to be the best of friends. Tonight, I'm going to talk about a time I had a fresh set of bank robberies. I was in MDC, Los Angeles. That's Metropolitan Detention Center at Los Angeles, what that's an acronym for. Yeah, I was looking at a new set of bank robberies. I was in there, and there were some friends of mine in there. Tony Bliss. I mean, this guy, he gets busted for 5 ounces of speed, and so he thinks it ain't shit. All right, so he gets into court and he tells him, yeah, the state dropped it because of illegal search and seizure. He gets in federal court. Yeah, I did it. So what? Don't worry about it. His lawyer's telling him, no, I got this. Don't worry about it. What he didn't realize is the law had just changed. So they give the guy 35 years. And, I mean, talk about laughing in the face of disaster. Tony turns around to his lawyer and he says, I hate it when they do that. The guy, you know, but, I mean, why, they did it. They're going to do it. I mean, even if he goes to trial, he might have got 40, 50 if he went to trial. All right. But anyhow, I'm sitting there and I'm playing dominoes with Tony Bliss. Now, over the course of the last few days, I've been seeing this guy that I knew him, but I couldn't put my finger on who he was. And unbeknownst to me, he was thinking the same thing. Okay? So I don't know who this guy is, but he's a big, buffed Indian. All right, but I can tell he runs white, but he's kind of keeping to himself, so he's definitely got convict in him. He's been locked up before, there's no doubt. I can tell by the way he carries himself, and he's got plenty of heart. I can tell that too. Okay, so anyhow, I'm trying to figure out who he is, but it's not something I'm really tripping on, all right? But I'm sitting there playing dominoes with Tony Bliss, and the pill cart comes in with the pill line, and the guy says, Lawrence Pratt, and I turn around, and here's this Indian, and I snap who he is. It's Larry Pratt, all right? And this guy wants to kill me. Okay. So I look at Tony Bliss and I said, you see that big old Indian over there? He said, yeah. I said, that dude wants to kill me. And I told him the story. What happened is 20 years before this time, when I was a whole lot younger, there was this gal named Juanita. And Larry was affiliated with her to buying drugs from her. She sold drugs, right? And her old man did too, right? But anyway, I was beefing with Juanita. So I go to her house and I rob her. Alright. So when I'm robbing her, Larry shows up. And the guys I'm with, this guy Dennis Bell, he's dead now. And this other guy, George Testerman, he's dead now too. Police killed him. But anyway, they pat him down, they can't find no money. Well, I know where it's at. I go, it's in his boot. So they take it out of his boot and it's $500. And he goes, that money's Bill Lackey's. I said, I don't give a fuck. This is a robbery, dog. You tell Bill Lackey, sorry about that, but I gotta have it. Bill Lackey's even bigger and meaner than Larry Pratt. Bill Lackey is Larry Pratt's old lady's dad. Alright. Now, Debbie Lackey, which is Larry's sister-in-law, is married to a friend of mine named Andy Walker. Alright. Who is also dead now. Debbie's not, but anyway, Bill, her father, one day goes to Andy's house, and he's a heroin addict, and he shoots some heroin, and Andy shoots some heroin, and Brenda don't. And he asked Brenda, why don't you do? I don't know. He said, you ain't giving my daughter this? He said, you cheap bastard. And so he tells his daughter how good it is, so she'll do some of the heroin just to cost Andy money. That's the kind of guy Bill Lackey was. Anyway, I take the money. We leave. 20 years later, here I am in MDC, and here's Larry. All right. Now, he ain't figured out who I am yet, but I don't know who he is. I tell Tony Bliss, I said, look, let's get the fellas. I got to kill this fucking guy before he figures out who I am and kills me. So I get my knife, and there's a little rec deck where you go out and you smoke and exercise and stuff like that. So we go out there, and fellas drift out there a little bit. Now everybody knows me. Larry's been out of the system for 20 years. I've been in this, so everybody knows me. Nobody knows Larry, except me. All right, so we're out on the red deck. Larry's out there working out. You know, I walk up and go. I got the knife right here in my waistband, and I go, "Hey, bro." He says, "Yeah." I says, "Your name Larry Pratt?" He says, "Yeah." I says, "You know who I am?" And he says, "No, but I know you from somewhere." I said, "You sure do." He said, "Where?" I says, "My name's Little Joe." Now that's what they used to call me way back when. And he says, "Oh, yeah, what's going on?" I said, "Look, are we beefing?" He said, "Look, man, Bill Lackey's dead. That was his money, you know. I kind of admire you for having the balls to take it anyway, you know. So, no, we're cool, bro. Don't even trip." I said, "You want to get high?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I got heroin." So we went up and got high and everything. Now, Larry is one of these guys that cannot plead guilty. He just can't do it. All right. Now, I'm looking at his bank robbery pictures. He's the guy. You can see. It's him. They offer him an 8-piece. He won't take it. He goes to court and gets an 18-piece. He takes it to trial. Because, you see, the feds, what they do, if you get found guilty in trial in federal court, they give you an additional 2 years for obstruction of justice because you knew you were guilty and you obstructed justice by taking it to trial. Is that crazy? Well, that's the way it goes down. Anyhow, I didn't see Larry Pratt for a good many years after that until I got my next set of bank robberies. All right. And I was in MDC Santa Ana. All right. And I'm in there, and I got a crime partner with me this time. All right. Named Robert. Well, Robert lands in the same cell with Larry. I'm in another cell block. All right. So, Robert, he just thinks I'm the coolest thing since igloos. All right. And he's telling Larry about his crime. Yeah, preacher's crime. Yeah. And so he's describing me, and Larry says, "Is he a little guy? Kind of buffed out?" I used to be in good shape then. "A lot of tattoos?" And Robert said, "Yeah." I said, "From Santa Ana?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "I've known that guy all his life." He said, "Is that a fact?" So Robert tells this kid, "You need to take this up off him because they're going to break him off." He said, "How can I do it?" "Well, we try." I tell Larry when I bump into him in the hallway, I said, "Look, man, it's a wrap, all right? They're not going to give me any less. I might as well throw myself under the bus and try to save this kid, all right?" So what I did was this. When we went to sentencing, I went up there, and now I drew the best judge in LA federal court, Robert M. Takasugi. He was such a sweetheart, all right? And we get up there in the court, and he's getting ready to sentence me. And I tell him like this. I go, "Your Honor, can I say something?" He said, "Sure, Mr. Gregory." I said, "Look, now I signed a deal, all right, with the DA for 25 years, all right? But this judge doesn't have to go by that, all right? And Robert M. Takasugi never gives anybody 25 years. That's why I signed the deal, all right? Anyway, I say, "Look, this kid, he's not a criminal, Your Honor. And if you send this guy to the penitentiary, you're just creating a criminal because they'll turn him into a criminal, okay? So, look, he only was doing this because he thinks I'm cool, all right? That's the only reason." And Takasugi says, "You know, Mr. Gregory, I'm not bound by that plea agreement." I said, "Yeah, I know, Your Honor, but, 25 years, I'm in my late 40s. It's pretty much a wrap anyway, all right? So, oh well, do what you're going to do." He says, "Sit down, I'm going to sentence him first." So Robert comes up there, and he tells Robert, he says, "So you think Mr. Gregory's cool, do you?" And Robert says, "Yeah, I kind of do." He goes, "Well, you know what? He is. Just not the way you think he is, dude." He gave Robert 2 years and 5 years probation. for armed bank robbery takeover and exchanging fire with law enforcement. I come up there and he goes, "How much can you do, Mr. Gregory?" Well, Joni, my lawyer, she's been my lawyer all my life. She bends down in my ear and she says, "Don't shoot yourself in the foot." So I says, "I can do 8 or 10 years. He says, 10 years it is. The DA says, "Your Honor, we agreed on 25 years. And he goes, "This is my court and I do what I want, so sit down and be quiet." DA was hating life. So anyhow, when Takasuki walks out of the court, the DA comes over and shakes my hand. This first time he's ever had me, he said, "Good luck, Mr. Gray." I said, "Don't worry, you get me next time, boss." But I never got no more bank robberies after that. Anyway, that's what happened with that. And I didn't have to kill nobody. Nobody killed me. And I was happy about it. And Larry Pratt, these days, he's out. You know, he's in his 70s now. Good guy. And I'm out, and I'm going to stay out, folks. Because you know what? I got about 44 years in, and I'm finished. I'm done. Anyway, folks, subscribe to my channel and like me. And this is where I'm at with it. Crime pays, but you got to pay the fiddler when the time comes. So, watch what you do, man. Crime ain't no good, for real. Get a job. You'll be a lot better off. So this is Preacher saying, have a good night, and be cool, bro. Take it easy.